that Lindsey Graham is a nightmare. Vote for Lee Wright. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much. I think that's really all that Lee has to say, but Lee is here to say a little bit more than that. The goal in South Carolina is to keep Lindsey Graham under 50% in the June 10th primary, because then there would be a runoff, as I understand it. Lee Bright is here. Hello, Lee. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. So that's the goal. Keep Lindsey Graham under 50%, and he is currently under 50% in the polls that I have seen.
Absolutely. We actually have a poll that was conducted by the Winzells group that shows that if you lay out his record and my record and then re-ask the ballot question, we're up 37-32.
The Common Core, do we have the audio of Lindsey Graham saying that he doesn't even know what Common Core is, but he's against it? I love this one. Hey, God, I don't know if you've heard this one, Lee, but he was asked in a meeting about Common Core, and he said, "I don't even know what that is, but that sounds bad, so I'll propose a bill against it." It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen or heard. But now he says he's against Common Core.
Well, apparently it didn't come up in the dinner conversation with Obama.
How do you mean?
Well, when they were out to dinner, maybe Common Core didn't come up that evening.
Oh, I see. Yes, all right. Where are the differences between you and Lindsey Graham? The real differences?
There are so many. You know, I actually co-sponsored the bill to stop Common Core in South Carolina. We've been fighting that for quite a while now. I mean, it was a experiment by some leftist folks that put some money into a plan, and I call it a scheme, to try to take care of the education system. And it was done very cleverly because it's not actually a federal program, but the federal money's involved. So they put $1.2 billion out there to encourage the states to acquiesce, which is what they often do.
Well, they say that this is, because there's a lot of governors that are for this. I mean, Mike Huckabee was the head of the National Governors Association when this happened. And he has now told people, friends, David Barton, he has told David Barton that he's against it. Yeah. But then he goes back to the National Governors Association and says, don't abandon this, just change the name and change the approach, but don't abandon this. So there's a lot of people that are for this, and they continue to be for it, even though they are saying that they're small government Republicans.
Well, Huckabee actually ran ads for Graham in South Carolina and then went back and said they weren't endorsements.
Yes. Yeah, we played those at one point. An unbelievable claim. Wait, you sat there and said he was the guy, but that's not an endorsement? What are you talking about? Yeah, they're awful. He's awful.
So, Lee, what is it that really motivates you? We've had you on before. What really motivates you? I mean, you're a dad. You're, how old are you? Like, you're in your 40s, aren't you?
I'm 43.
You're 43 years old, so you got your whole life ahead of you. Why would you go to Washington, D.C.?
I think our republic's on the verge of being lost.
Well, now that's crazy talk. Of course, Jonathan Turley said that yesterday. He's Georgetown, actually a liberal from Georgetown and a constitutional scholar, and he said yesterday that in front of Congress, in front of the Senate hearing, he said that he thought that we were at a constitutional tipping point because of the way the president is behaving, and Congress isn't stopping him at all.
If we don't send some real constitutional conservatives to Congress into the Senate to fight him these next 2 years, I don't see how we survive. I mean, we can't have people like Lindsey Graham and John McCain who continually roll over and want to look rational and reasonable when there's no compromise with this guy. I mean, he sat in a church that they didn't say God bless America, and he is bent on destroying this country, and we've got to send folks up to Washington. They're going to fight him.
So, Lee, you said you're against Common Core. Remind us about some of your other stands on issues like immigration, for instance. And
I have been. We've got to be. We're a nation of laws, and the rest of the world's watching. And if we can't enforce our borders, and if we don't, basically, if somebody's here illegally, I don't know how you reward that behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, it sends a message, and the fact that Lindsey Graham has been tone deaf when it comes to the the view of South Carolinians. I mean, he's more interested in what the U.S. Chamber of Commerce says versus what South Carolinians say. And I also wanted to touch another subject. I was the lead sponsor on the Obamacare nullification in the Senate. And now the bill that passed the House is before the Senate, and we just got an alert that the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce is against it. So
is that for Obamacare?
Yes.
Yeah, what has happened to the Chamber of Commerce? I really thought the Chamber of Commerce, my dad was a Chamber, I think we even raised money at one point for the Chamber of Commerce. Didn't we, Stu?
We definitely talked about that. Yeah, there was one. There was an issue they were on the right side of at one point.
Right. And they were attacked by the president.
And then they were made to look like they were an evil, an evil foreign entity.
Right.
And we're like, come on, it's not a foreign entity. No, but it is a progressive shill now, apparently. The Chamber of Commerce, because the Chamber... Go ahead.
And the line between big government and big business is getting blurred.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but they always have accused the Republicans of doing that. And I think it's both parties.
Well, we've got to pull the Republican Party to the right. There's no question about it. I mean, we're at one of those moments, Goldwater made the pool, Reagan made the pool, and we've got to make the pool. And I think if we're not successful, the country as we know it is gone.
So, Lee, who would you say you are most like? Who is the one that you're like? Because I said this yesterday to a candidate. There are three approaches, and maybe you have a different one, but there are three approaches. There is the Rand Paul approach, which is I learned from my dad. Don't be a third party guy. Kind of be inside and work the system and try to cure it from the inside. There is Ted Cruz, who is kind of off, on his own as an island, is just like, I'm just standing with the people, period. And then there's Mike Lee, who is saying, I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to be on the front stage. I'm just going to work to try to, look at all the levers of power and try to help plan everything. Where do you see yourself? Which one are you more like, or are you something entirely different?
I'm probably more like Ted Cruz. I would say that I am out front. I've been in the state senate now for 6 years, and in every major fight I've been out front because I believe that we have to have a resurgence in the people's involvement, and I think you're seeing that because they're the ones. Because a lot of these elected officials, you've got a couple of type of Republicans. You got the ones that want to be conservative, they just don't have the courage. And then you've got those that really aren't anything. They just want to be elected. And if Lee Bright beats Lindsey Graham, it will give the ones that don't have enough courage the courage to do the right thing. And then it'll scare the ones that don't really have any kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word without attacking them too harshly, but, they kind of deserve it. But they just don't have any core principles. And those we either need to defeat or we need to put the fear into them.
There is something that David Barton and I are working on for Parental Rights. I don't know if you have seen, I know you're busy and you're on the campaign trail and it's not in your state, but there's a case that we have been on for Justina Pelletier. She's this little girl that went from Tufts University Hospital to Children's Hospital in Boston. The Children's Hospital, the doctor disagreed with what they were saying at Tufts, and then they took the right away from the parents. They took her into state custody because the parents said, "No, we don't," and put her in state custody. She's been there for a year, and she's going to die if she stays there. And it's really a horrible case. And we have been looking into this now for 6 months, trying to find something that is wrong, and now all of the politicians are starting to come to the surface, and the people are, and I think there's going to be real movement on this. But as we do this, we are finding, we found a case, and it's up on the Blaze today, about a family in Alaska, that the same thing happened. And we're seeing it now with Common Core as well, where you're getting pushback. They don't even care about what the parent says. Let me ask you this. We're putting a bill to protect the rights of parents, and we're asking states to pass this. And basically it says the liberty of a parent to direct the upbringing, education, and care of the parent's child is a fundamental right. Neither the state nor its agency or locality thereof shall infringe this right without demonstrating that its governmental interest as applied to the person is of the highest order and not otherwise served. And we're trying to get something passed in all of the states but pushes back and draws a line around the house of the family and says the parents are the parents of children. Is this something that you think you would support on what little you know about it, and that you could try to sell to the people of South Carolina as well?
Absolutely. That sounds like something that the people in South Carolina are ready for. The state government as well as the federal government is trying to act like that the children are the responsibility of the state, and the children are the responsibility of the parents. And this is a war we're fighting in South Carolina because the state government feels like they know best in every circumstance.
Lee Bright, he is running for Lindsey Graham's seat. If you really want to make a difference, you will support Lee Bright. I'm telling you, if there's a runoff with Lindsey Graham, everything changes. Because Lindsey Graham will lose. There's just there's no support for him.
And look who's on Fox News right now making his case. A little Lindsey Graham action on Fox. Nice. Yeah,
we can get him a job over there after this is over.
But now, how would I help support Lee Bright if I wanted to, though? I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
BrightForSenate.com. We've got a money bomb going on right now. BrightForSenate.com.
What do you need to raise today?
We'd like to raise $100,000 if we could.
Well, that doesn't sound too hard. If you were just on a show where you had a lot of people that believed in supporting candidates that could beat Lindsey Graham, I don't know what show that is. But
so Lee, is that Bright FOR Senate or for the number
FORSenate.com?
Okay,
and that's Bright BRIGHT,
like it's bright outside, like we're going to have a bright future.
Right,
and that's Lee like LEE.
No, it's just Bright. Bright for Senate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's not Lee Bright. It's just Bright for Senate.
Senate.com.
Yeah.
So I write out DOT.
No, it's just a period and then com. It's just brightforsenate.com. And did you hear? He's got a money bomb going on today.
What? How much would he like to raise?
He'd like to raise over $100,000.
Oh, that should be
So if somebody had like $100,000, they could do it. Or if somebody had just like $5,
I don't think they could do it with campaign finance.
Well, you could break it up into $1,000 pieces and just name a different Disney character.
That has been done before.
It has been done. I don't know who has done that, but anyway. So brightforsenate.com. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it.
If we get in the runoff, we will beat Lindsey Graham. We just got to get into the runoff.
And we beat who's running for the Democrat?
We'll beat the Democrat. As long as Obama's in the White House, a Democrat's not going to win statewide in South Carolina.
No way. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you very much, Lee. I appreciate it.
We do have that Common Core audio from Lindsey Graham as well.
Oh, yeah, we got to play this.
I
mean, jeez, I can't believe that Lindsey Graham still has 47%.
Yeah.
47%. And if you get in the runoff, that's all you have to do is just get in the runoff. Don't let Lindsey Graham get over 50%. Because if you get in the runoff, then it's over. It's over because Lindsey Graham all of his support is soft, and it's all Karl Rove and Mike Huckabee stuff.
It's the name we know. It's the guy who's been around for a long time. He does not connect with the values of South Carolina at all. But you look at the other senators they've had: Jim DeMint, Tim Scott. That's South Carolina.
Yeah.
Not Lindsey Graham.
Tim Scott is so good.
So good.
So good.
So here is the audio. This is, by the way, not from 1995.
It's from last September.
This is last September.
I don't even know how old I was last September.
I know. It was too long ago. Were there cars?
Here's Lindsey Graham.
Common Core.
What's Common Core?
It's the education curriculum that we were forced to accept if we accepted the incentive that, what's it called? Anyway, it's basically the federal government telling us what we...
Yeah, I'll address it. I don't know what it is. Sounds like a bad idea. Tell my staff, and I'll try to get a coalition.
Listen to that. I love that.
He has no idea.
She doesn't even finish the sentence. It's basically the government telling, look, I don't know anything about it, but I'm gonna make sure that we pass some legislation to stop that. I mean, what?
He did actually do that, though. I mean, as I mentioned there's an article you can read on the Blaze that I wrote. You got to scroll down a little bit for it, but it's on Common Core. And as I mentioned in the article, he actually did craft legislation About an anti-Common Core.
But you know what? He's looking at because he's running.
Yes, he is. But I'll take it. If it kills Common Core, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. But get somebody who actually is on top of it before.
And Lee Bright's against it, and he knows what it is.
Yeah, Lee Bright. I wish there was a website.
BrightForSenate.com.